Hello, this is Drew again, and I believe this is our third video in the series for Windows Server 2016. Here we will install the DHCP role and go over some of the console. So far we've created a domain with 2 DCs and 1 Windows 7 PC. That Windows 7 PC currently anyways has DHCP enabled and is waiting for an IP address. So again, just to review, we'll install the role and review the features, the basic stuff. Next, it will be the more interesting video where we install, or we do the configuration of DHCP. We set up scopes and options, and also look at an issue with DNS and DHCP and how to resolve that with DNS update proxy. So I'll just load up the virtual machines here. Here we can see our PC. It doesn't have a IP address yet, as we can see here, and it's waiting for us to create a DHCP server. Here's our DC, again with directory services installed with DNS, and it is an Active Directory server. To install DHCP, it's very, very easy. We come in here and basically accept all of the defaults. We want to install a role on this current server, and we want the DHCP server installed with the tools to manage it. No extra feature needed for this, and here it's saying that it needs at least one IP address, which it does because it's a DC, static IP. And we have already planned our subnet scopes and exclusions, so that's good. We'll go over that in the next video. Click install, and I'll just come back when that's done. Okay, so that's finished. There's a little bit more to configure, so we click on the link. And what it has to do here is add 2 more groups. One to allow administrators who you choose to be able to manage DHCP, and then another group just to be able to view DHCP and its current settings. Click on next, and this here is going to authorize this DHCP server to be able to hand out IP addresses. If you don't want it to currently do that, check the bottom box there and click on commit. But we do want it running, so I'm going to leave it as it is, and because I'm a domain admin, this administrator account, we are allowed to do that, so we don't need to change anything there. Already present, and just ignore that, pretend that it's done. I've removed and reinstalled this service a couple times to get this video right, so just pretend that isn't there. Because in my Active Directory it already exists, which is fine. Okay, so now we can close that, and just to verify here, if we go into Active Directory users and computers, we will see those 2 new groups under the users, and then DHCP administrators and users, which should be default by should be blank by default, which they are. Okay, and the next step, so let's just quickly review DHCP. We'll go over some of the terminology and features, and the next video we'll go over configuring stuff. So if the DHCP console is blank here, we can right click it and say add a server, and then we can type in dc1-can or browse through Active Directory and add it that way. That would display this here. If you had more than one DHCP server, we can right click, add remove binding. So if this has more than one static IP address, it would show a list of them here, and you could check which ones you want DHCP to be offered on for that subnet. And I don't have any IPv6 static IP addresses, so this is blank. So that's good for my setup. If we wanted to stop this Windows server from hosting DNS, we could click on Unauthorize, and then it wouldn't be allowed in Active Directory to run that service. Backup and restore, that's kind of self-explanatory, but we'll go over Active Directory disaster recovery in the future here. I'll make a video on how to restore your domain controller, which would include this because that has that service. If you wanted to stop the actual service running on this machine for DHCP server, we could use these tools. Delete, that'll just remove it from the console. It won't actually stop the service or uninstall anything. And then in properties, we can view where the DHCP database and log files are kept. So I just copied that path, pasted in, and now we can see the database files, and here are the DHCP server logs for each specific day. So after 1 week has passed by, it would overwrite the previous week's data. And if we open one of these up, the top portion is more just informational, and then here we can see some of the actual DHCP offerings and requests coming through, and do some troubleshooting that way. We won't get into that now though. And if we expand IPv4, so these green checkboxes means that this DHCP server will, if it's configured, hand out addresses for IPv4 or IPv6. But because there's nothing really configured here, it's not going to do anything. It's just on. Scope options. So if you wanted to specify scope options for all of the subnets that you're going to create, or scopes that you're going to create, you would specify them here, and that would apply to all of the scopes that you create. And things that you can specify are DNS servers, Win servers, default gateways, domain names, time zone offsets, if you have quality of service, VLAN switching, if you have a phone and a PC which use different VLANs, but they're only using one network jack, you can configure all that kind of stuff in your scope options. Policies. So policies are for when you want to specify what requirements are needed to be met for your clients. For example, the firewall has to be turned on. You can use another role or feature in Windows Server to be able to control those kind of rules and policies. Filters. If you know a MAC address that you don't want on your network, you can specify it in these filter lists, and an IP address wouldn't be handed out. It's not really foolproof because the guy can just set a static IP and get on your network that way, or he can spoof a different MAC address and get around your little attempt to block them from your network. So that's not really practical in my experience anyways. So that's it, quick and dirty. Let's get into more of the detailed and fun stuff in the next video.